This is just a update part 16 of the Ford truck project, the Ford 64 Ford truck project. Still working on the front end, the Jag independent front end, and trying to get these coilovers to work and the spline sway bar and all that stuff. But anyway, I think I've had some success. Basically, this is pretty much the final product of my labour, my ideas. Anyway, what's happened is that yeah, it all works quite well. I've put in multiple shock locations at the top, 3 at the top, 2 at the bottom, just to muck around with ride height or longer shocks or whatever happens in the future. Yeah, I don't have to re-engineer this thing too much. I'll just put different shocks in it if necessary. I'm pretty happy with the AFCOs, and I'm sure they'll do the job quite well. Yeah, those ones are a 3-inch stroke AFCO, which relates to probably about 5 1/4 inches wheel travel when it's all assembled. So yeah, so that's the story there. I haven't made any bushes up, but in here I've actually made these the shock mounts wider, so they need a spacer in there and stuff like that, so I can mount this in down low, and up top same thing. They need spacers in there to centrally locate that in the tower. The tower's about 2.5 inches wide. So, but yeah, so that you can get at the damping control, same as the bottom. Yeah, so I've utilised the original Jag bump stop. Pretty much fabricated all this stuff. But yeah, so that's how it works. I'll do this. Yeah, there it is. It travels up, hits the bump stop. There's a bump stop on the shock. There's a bump stop under the tower there, and if necessary, I can add a plate or 2 to the bottom of that to change the bump stop height and all that stuff. So yeah, so that's pretty much the final outcome of all this metal work and fussing about. So there it is. Yeah, coilover shocks in a Jag independent front end, so can be done. So yeah, a lot of work, very fiddly. The bottom arms, to get this all to work, what happens is this here is this is for the link arms that go to the sway bar. Eventually the sway bar will be a bit stronger than my template, but the sway bar arm will go there, and there'll be a link between the spherical links between there, and that'll have multiple drillings in that. That may get trimmed down some too. I haven't bought the link ends yet, so I've made that a little bit oversized. It may get trimmed some, depends on what size spherical ends I get to link the sway bar arms to the sway bar. But anyway, that'll happen near enough in the future. So yeah, so that's it. Yeah, they're about 0.75 of an inch apart. So yeah, change the shock height by 1.5 inches the top, and I think they're 0.75 apart at the bottom. So there is room for a bit of adjustment there. Like I said, that outer section bolts on. It's the only way I could get all this mounting into the bottom control arm. I've got one here. This is an example of what I've done. Bottom plates made out of 4mm. These bolt through the original Jag's castings. There's 2 shock locations, and this is basically the plate I've made, and that will basically that slides into that's the bottom control arm there. So what happens is that this will slide in from the inside, pretty much. Tap that in, and what I've done is the outer section, I've made that a bolt-on, basically using the original Jag holes in the bottom control arm. Basically that will bolt. That's how that works. That sort of bolts up like that. It slides forward, so that's pretty much the only way I could do it. But anyway, I'm pretty happy with that. I think it's strong enough. Most of this is 4mm. It's 5mm. Yeah, so I can't see any of this moving anytime soon. So yeah, that's where we're at the moment. Yeah, next bend the arms. I'll do that in the next couple of days, and I'll get this undercoated and blasted and such, and then back into the truck, mount the engine, and continue on. But yeah, that's as you can see, the engine mounts are parallel with the bottom of the frame now. So yeah, this is channeled a fair bit. So like I said, the roll center and stuff is quite different to what it was. But anyway, with the suspension and stuff like that, it should be a very interesting ride. But yeah, so that's it's getting a lot of fiddle fart around, but anyway, it's getting close to done now. So yeah, so that's where we're at. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Yeah, like I said, I can change the ride height. I can adjust I should be able to adjust the sway bar tension if necessary. And yeah, so yeah, get at the bottom dial for the damping there. So yeah, so that's pretty much the front end that's taken too long to build. So yeah, but that's probably all I got for today. Just an update. Bit of luck soon. I'll have this back in the truck. Truck will be back on all 4. Truck will have an engine block and a transmission in it, and continue on with the mock-up, and then finalise the rear end for alignment and ride height and all this sort of stuff. It needs shock mounts made for the rear too. So here we go again for the rear shocks and stuff. But anyway, yeah, this is probably more difficult than the rear, so the rear will happen soon, and yeah, truck continues on. So anyway, that'll do for part 16. Yeah, so there you go. Cheers.